And having been here at Stream TV, you see just how diverse the content available is, how many different formats there are, how many different ways to view and devices there are. So you have to have a curator. You have to have somebody who can really help cut out all the noise and help you find what you really want to watch.
Welcome back. I'm Marion Ranchet. I'm the founder of Streaming Made Easy, and I'm doing a video series on one of my favorite topics, super aggregation, in partnership with Bango. And today with me, I have a master aggregator, David Bouchier from Virgin Media.
Let's talk. I don't say aggregator.
Oh,
I say
what do you
curator.
say? I love that.
We think aggregation is a bit of a commodity. It's
Okay.
heavy lifting of numerous amounts of content that really doesn't help the viewer understand where choice is and what the selections to be made. Whereas I see my role and my team's role at Virgin Media to curate that world. And having been here at Stream TV, you see just how diverse the content available is, how many different formats there are, how many different ways to view and devices there are. So you have to have a curator. You have to have somebody who can really help cut out all the noise and help you find what you really want to watch.
I love it so much, I'm going to steal it.
Good, we like that.
If you allow me. No, but I love it. And I had never thought of it because you've said it, right? There's so many options out there. It's not just about giving choice and, options to your consumers, to your customers. It's about that bit of guidance that actually takes you quicker to content. And we're going to be speaking about that because I think this is one of the major challenges that we have right now is content discovery. But before I get into that, for those who maybe don't know necessarily the Virgin Media operations, as a curator, what do you curate? What's your edge? What do you do differently?
So it's really interesting because obviously we come from a world of being a cable TV business, where we were and remain actually, we are the only major scale cable TV player in the UK. And traditionally we saw our competitors as satellite TV and other cable sort of fixed based platforms. Now the competition is wide and it includes connected TVs, they are platforms, they're coming onto our space, and different devices, the world of mobile, where there are short form and micro dramas, which has been one of the most interesting parts of coming to Stream TV, is learning about all the new worlds of content, all the different styles, all the different ways of viewing, all the ways of enjoying your content. So we've had to evolve. So we've extended across the base of free television. So we now have a curated collection of fast channels, which is a really important point. I took the decision when we went into fast that we would integrate it into our EPG so that our customers who are very familiar with what we do with collating linear channels will be trusting of the choice that we've made. And trust is another theme that I've seen during these last few days here at the conference. In a world where there is so much choice, you really do want trusted brands. The customers want trusted brands and the advertisers want a trusted home for their brands. So our way of aggregating free streaming channels and putting them in our EPG, which is regulated, that means that those brands feel that they have a trusted and safe environment for their products. So it's proved to be the right way to look at it, to take an existing product like an electronic program guide and expand it into the new world of streaming.
It feels like you've had to evolve and transform as new formats, new ways of watching video content emerge. And so you have linear, you have an ecosystem of fast. I assume that you distribute streamers, the Netflix of the world.
Absolutely, yeah. So last year we moved our TV packages to include Netflix as standard. We were actually one of the first, I nearly said aggregating, how terrible. One of the first platforms in the world. It was an aggregator back in 2013. It was. 2013, we probably did call ourselves an aggregator when we added Netflix onto our set-top boxes, which was, I think, a bit of a world first. So since then, we've been very cautious in who we work with, very careful in how we add to the customer proposition. But we have now added Netflix as an integral part of our paid for video.
So that's interesting. I mean, so historically you were bundling, having a device with a platform to watch content on, that's part of monthly subscription that people pay, and then as time went on, you brought in more value. So
Yes.
you brought in a Netflix, etc. So interesting that you're bundling Netflix. Anyone else, or are you more in an approach where anyone who can come within that marketplace of yours, you know?
So I think, that's a really interesting question to call it a marketplace, because there are very large marketplaces.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime Channels, Google Play Store. We can never compete with that, and I don't think our customers would ask us to. What we do is we research the customer needs very carefully, and if you look at the usage, the top 5, 6 dozen services will account for 85 to 90% of the demand from our customers, and that's what we focus on. We focus on fantastic integration, fantastic value for money with those key services. Now, it doesn't mean that that's a static list. As you say, it evolves all the time, and we've had to add more and more streaming services into their video packages. But we're not going to try and compete with a massive, global marketplace, because we wouldn't do that. And actually, the benefits for our customers are relatively small.
So one thing for you is one of the major appeal that I have, but I worked at Orange, so I'm very familiar with, yes, and I worked at Roku, so I've been in both sides of the world. But what I will say that I love about it's my telco bill, and I love having my mobile, my internet, my TV, and then now my streamers all in one place, and so that applies to both my consumption, the platform that I use, but it's also that ease of use, that ease of management.
And value for money.
Yeah, and absolutely. Not every time. There's places where I feel like the bill keeps growing, but...
Well, that's actually a really interesting observation, because in the UK at the moment, one of our main competitors, Sky, has recently integrated more streamers into its Ultimate TV package. And that obviously comes at a price. It's a big discount if you were to buy them separately.
Yeah.
We've chosen to go a slightly different route, which is we're very focused on the value for money for our customers. And we don't necessarily think that all customers want all of those services.
Absolutely.
So what we've done is we know that there's an anchor streaming service in Netflix that if it were a channel in the UK now, it's the third biggest and most viewed service. So it's a very easy ask for our customers to include that in our packages. Beyond that, even for the big streamers, you are adding cost, and you are adding, at a time now where people really do look at their bills, they look at their different utility bills. We wouldn't want to combine all the other services and connectivity we provide plus a big video bill. So we try and keep it as a balance. That doesn't mean people who want those other services can't add them through us. They absolutely can. And there are different packages with different value propositions for those that do want a larger integration. But we don't want to make it our default position.
Yeah, so you're taking a flexible approach. Right. I love that. So what I'm hearing from you is what makes a great bundle. Of course, content, the fact that it's a trusted source, curated by you guys, that there's a discount, the bill, etc. You've been doing that for many years. And what are you seeing in terms of acquiring new customers for Virgin Media and retaining your customers? Is it kind of a must-have in today's landscape to have a way to somehow bring some loyalty to your customers?
It is. I mean, we're fortunate. And look, it's a very competitive landscape in both mobile and fixed. The UK has a very deregulated fixed broadband market, which means we are overbuilt in some cases, where I live in London, by 3 other operators at least. So where we're fortunate is we have that Virgin Media heritage in TV and entertainment. And that means we can add value to the proposition in a way that our, what we call alternative networks, are just connectivity. So they don't have the opportunity to provide a value package to the customer. And having a deep heritage in video gives us a massive advantage when we're talking to these big curation brands, or these big content brands. So we deal with the likes of Disney and have done for many years. We deal with the likes of the other US studios. So we're able to have that relationship and build packages that a new entrant might struggle with.
Interesting. Yeah, you've spent years, because it's the chicken and egg, right? Any streamer would be interested to be distributed within a new video offering from those altnets, but if the scale is here.
Yeah.
And so, but these guys, to get the scale, need to have a Netflix, a Disney, etc. So you don't build those video proposition overnight.
No,
for sure,
exactly.
For sure, yeah.
And we have those. I think there are three main relationships that are so important that we have. We have that content relationship, including with the public service broadcasters and their public service apps. Because in the UK last year, the on-demand services that were growing the most were actually what we call the BVODs, the broadcast video on-demand services. So iPlayer, Channel 4, ITVX, they are starting to claw back maybe some of the market share they've lost. So that's a very important relationship. We have the subscription relationship with our customer. They trust us, they pay us every month, which, for example, a screen manufacturer would love to have that sort of subscription relationship. And then thirdly, and most importantly, we are the default for the living room screen. So we own the living room screen, our set-top boxes are connected to the living room screen. So the best place to watch, the best place to enjoy their programming is in our room through our boxes.
So we're starting to see moves from new players. So you've mentioned Altnet, it's specifically on connectivity, although they want to have a video proposition, but we're seeing banks like Revolut with a subscription, and they're bringing perks more and more, and video is coming to get in the mix. You have Lidl, who announced that they will be launching MVNO in the UK, which connectivity, again, could be step one to something else. So what are you seeing in the ecosystem in terms of potentially new curators, aggregators in the space that you are either, feeling threatened by, or actually, excited to see in the mix? Because there's also, we're all in this business together. It's interesting to have a bit of competition, right?
Yeah, and as you say, the competitors are now many and various. We actually have a joint venture with the big supermarket chain Tesco in the UK. Tesco Mobile has been incredibly successful as an MVNO, so a virtual mobile operator, and we've been their partner in that. Others will come, I'm sure. What we can add, I think, particularly on the mobile side, is we have a very successful loyalty scheme called Priority. And Priority is very linked to venues like the O2 Arena in London. They have a ticketing program which gives our customers early access to great concerts and bands. And that's something that we can build on, and that's something that I think others look very enviously at us. So when we look at the new entrants, we have a lot of sort of weapons and areas where we can provide even more value for customers, even when adjacent industries and business sectors like retail, like banking, are coming into our area.
In terms of where you are showing up in that ecosystem, we all know, right, that people just don't, go to you and others that easily. It's very much this, we need to pull people into our, universes. From a distribution standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, how are you making sure people, know and understand what you stand for, what you have to offer?
So we have two kind of distinct brands in the UK. We have our Virgin Media, which is the broadband and television, and we have O2, which is our mobile brand. So we very recently announced mobile satellite, O2 satellite, which was an initiative with Starlink that allows our customers to have access to connectivity, even if they're in the wilds of Scotland or in the Outer Hebrides. So that's a very exciting. I think our customers expect that from a brand like O2. They see us as an innovator. They see us as a way of a trusted partner in connectivity, and that flows through to broadband. We've always been the fastest broadband provider in the UK as Virgin Media. We can still provide speeds of multiple gigs if people want that. So our brands sit very front and center in the customer's mind as the best in class for their connectivity and entertainment. That's really a great strength for us.
You mentioned trust at the top, and I think this is something you've built, over decades. And we're seeing a lot of new players, and I'm all for competition. I love seeing new models. I think it's also pushing you guys potentially to, make changes and evolve your value proposition. When you launch Fast, that was a great example. You had Samsung and others launching Fast Bouquet. You did not stand still, and you decided to do the same. So I think you have, as a curator, again, that long-standing relationship and trust and that visibility, because you're a multifaceted business that is really making you a strong contender in the curation ecosystem.
Very definitely.
So David, thank you so much for being with us. That's it for us. We'll see you next time.